degrade. Your faith begins to become radioactive because you're on the field and you're playing the game, and you start to see the other team put up more points than you, and then you get discouraged, and then you start taking off the jersey and wanting to walk off the field. What kind of player are you to begin with? It means that in your soul, you were only a player contracted during the winning season. You never said it when you signed up. You never said it when you got drafted. But in your heart was only the possibility of joy in the play, willingness in the play, if your team is winning. You don't have the grace to lose. You don't have the grace to lose and know that just as football has seasons, just as the NBA and the NFL have seasons, this Christianity also has seasons. This Christianity also has seasons. We only want to be a part of the winning season, but the season that will outlast seasons of defeat, seasons of loss, yes, seasons of delay, to cultivate a faith that is still good. The wine of faith that whenever Jesus puts in a cup and draws that thing from your spirit, sometimes there may be a little few tinges of sourness to the wine. We are human. We have pain. We have disappointment. We have stress. We cry. We get disappointed. But to just sit there and actively allow the entire barrel of wine inside you to go bad. No. No, it won't always be like that. It won't always be like this. The Lord will perfect that concerning me, and sooner or later it'll turn in my favor. Sooner or later it'll turn in my favor. I said sooner or later it'll turn in my favor. It's turning around for me, around for me, around for me, around for me. It's turning around for me. We have to learn how to wait on God. We have to learn how to love on God despite the losses. Sometimes it's the fans who will blame the coach. He's a bad coach. Fire him. How do you fire Jesus Christ? Where are you going from there? There's no direction without God. How do you fire the person who's keeping you in the game? How do you allow bitterness to confuse the relationship you have with the coach? You're not the coach. Sometimes you want to play a certain way. Coach is not letting you play that way. Sometimes you want to play, coach is not letting you play at all. Coach is putting you on the bench. Coach is saying to some people that you're not actually going to play any further seasons. There are people who are not going to be with us for very long. It's very painful to contemplate. Coach has made an executive decision. I'm not going to renew your contract. That doesn't make coach a bad person, because for all intents and purposes, that word coach means the one with the best game plan, the one with the expertise to make the kind of decisions that I may not understand. Sometimes coaches cut players that make no sense. The coach has had conversations with management and everything, and they've made these decisions based on a lot of factors that sometimes the fans can't see, and sometimes the players themselves can't see. And then the decision comes down and everybody's upset and everybody's angry. He's our best player. But maybe these people are looking at the long game.
Good morning, YouTube.
Yes. Sometimes they're looking at the long game. Sometimes they're looking at factors that we cannot see. And that's why some aspects of Christianity just require Excessive trust in God.
You just have to trust in God, yeah? Excessive trust in God is what it requires.
Yeah. Yeah. They require excessive trust in God, and we just have to have faith that God knows what he's doing, that God is making his decisions based on factors that we don't have all the information necessary. We don't have everything available to us. I am the creator. I am the maker of the universe. I am the one who spoke into nothing, and all creation heard. I am he who has all power in my hands. Amen. And if you believe on my word, you can stand. I am healer, mender of broken hearts, Alpha Omega, your destiny and where you start. I am the one who does impossible things. That's who I am. Just let me be who I am to you. That's who I am. Just let me be who I am for you. These are immensely powerful words. None of us is creator. None of us is maker. None of us is healer. Even mothers who give comfort to their children cannot actually call themselves a mender of a broken heart. A mother can be a soother of your pain momentarily.
Amen. And so I'm going to get into reading the Bible now. That was just a little excerpt from the Master's Voice Prophecy blog. So I'm on TikTok and YouTube at the same time. So in case I'm not following on messages or anything, just pardon me, okay? It's been a while since I came on. But I hope that as I've been away, everyone has been reading their own Bibles for those who can. All right, I'll start with the chapter where the verse of the day comes from. And today's verse of the day is from Hebrews chapter 12, and it is verse number 14. It says, "Make every effort to live in peace with everyone and to be holy. Without holiness, no one will see the Lord." So let's read the whole chapter. Okay. Hebrews chapter 12. It is 25 verses.
Hebrews chapter 13.
Wait, did I say Hebrews chapter 12? None, it's reading Hebrews chapter 14. Okay, let's try again.
Hebrews chapter 12.
Yeah.
Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. In your struggle against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding your blood. And have you completely forgotten this word of encouragement that addresses you as a father addresses his son? It says, "My son, do not make light of the Lord's discipline, and do not lose heart when he rebukes you, because the Lord disciplines the one he loves, and he chastens everyone he accepts as his son." Endure hardship as discipline. God is treating you as his children. For what children are not disciplined by their father? If you are not disciplined, and everyone undergoes discipline, then you are not legitimate, not true sons and daughters at all. Moreover, we have all had human fathers who disciplined us, and we respected them for it. How much more should we submit to the Father of spirits and live? They disciplined us for a little while as they thought best, but God disciplines us for our good, in order that we may share in his holiness. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. Therefore, strengthen your feeble arms and weak knees. Make level paths for your feet, so that the lame may not be disabled, but rather healed. Make every effort to live in peace with everyone and to be holy. Without holiness, no one will see the Lord. See to it that no one falls short of the grace of God, and that no bitter root grows up to cause trouble and defile many. See that no one is sexually immoral, or is godless like Esau, who for a single meal sold his inheritance rights as the oldest son. Afterwards, as you know, when he wanted to inherit this blessing, he was rejected. Even though he sought the blessing with tears, he could not change what he had done. You have not come to a mountain that can be touched and that is burning with fire, to darkness, gloom, and storm, to a trumpet blast, or to such a voice speaking words that those who heard it begged that no further word be spoken to them, because they could not bear what was commanded. If even an animal touches the mountain, it must be stoned to death. The sight was so terrifying that Moses said, "I am trembling with fear." But you have come to Mount Zion, to the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem. You have come to thousands upon thousands of angels in joyful assembly, to the church of the firstborn, whose names are written in heaven. You have come to God, the judge of all, to the spirits of the righteous made perfect, to Jesus, the mediator of a new covenant, and to the sprinkled blood that speaks a better word than the blood of Abel. See to it that you do not refuse him who speaks. If they did not escape when they refused him, who warned them on earth, how much less will we, if we turn away from him who warns us from heaven? At that time his voice shook the earth, but now he has promised, "Once more I will shake not only the earth, but also the heavens." The words, "once more," indicate the removing of what can be shaken, that is, created things, so that what cannot be shaken may remain. Therefore, since we are receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken, let us be thankful, and so worship God acceptably with reverence and awe, for our God is a consuming fire.
Interesting. So anyway, that is where the verse of the day comes from. The verse of the day is taken from Hebrews chapter 12. And we just read the entire Hebrews chapter 12. And yeah. The titles here, if I should put it that way. Hi, Malusantana. Welcome. The titles here is God Disciplines His Children and also Warning and Encouragement. Yes, the subtitles. Okay. So the verse of the day again is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 14. And I also highlighted verse 11 as a favorite verse from this chapter. Now let's move on to another Bible reading. Is there anyone listening that would like to share their verse that they liked from this chapter? If you were following. Godfred, welcome. Emil, welcome. All right, moving on to Jeremiah. I'm doing a study in Jeremiah, even though I'm slowed up, but I'm enjoying the slowness. Just taking one day at a time. So I'm in Jeremiah chapter 16, and today it will be from verse 1 to 21, but there is a devotion that will be read first, and then we read the chapter, okay?
What does it say? God restricted Jeremiah from marrying or having children. Jeremiah was also not to attend funerals or occasions of feasting with the wicked, disobedient people of Judah. What does it mean? Most Hebrew men were married before the age of 20. So God's instructions for his prophet to forego marriage and family certainly raised questions. The Lord required his prophet to give up an important part of Judean culture as a sign to God's people that normal family relationships would be severed in the horrible times ahead. The additional restrictions to abstain from times of celebration and mourning pictured the absence of joyous occasions and a total lack of godly comfort. The restrictions on Jeremiah's human relationships left him without family or friends. Each restriction, however, had a purpose that forced Jeremiah to rely on the Lord alone. How should I respond? God's plan for your life may be very different from what you have pictured. Following Christ sometimes requires sacrificing something that seems good for you. In those moments, it isn't a matter of right and wrong but of good and best. Philippians 1:10. God may call you to remain unmarried, to move across or out of the country, or take a job that pays less. What has God asked of you that goes against your culture or family traditions? Whatever it is, you can be certain that it is not random. He has a purpose.
Then the word of the Lord came to me. You must not marry and have sons or daughters in this place. For this is what the Lord says about the sons and daughters born in this land, and about the women who are their mothers, and the men who are their fathers. They will die of deadly diseases. They will not be mourned or buried, but will be like dung lying on the ground. They will perish by sword and famine, and their dead bodies will become food for the birds and the wild animals. For this is what the Lord says. Do not enter a house where there is a funeral meal. Do not go to mourn or show sympathy, because I have withdrawn my blessing, my love, and my pity from this people, declares the Lord. Both high and low will die in this land. They will not be buried or mourned, and no one will cut themselves or shave their head for the dead. No one will offer food to comfort those who mourn for the dead, not even for a father or a mother, nor will anyone give them a drink to console them. And do not enter a house where there is feasting, and sit down to eat and drink. For this is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says. Before your eyes and in your days, I will bring an end to the sounds of joy and gladness, and to the voices of bride and bridegroom in this place. When you tell these people all this, and they ask you, why has the Lord decreed such a great disaster against us? What wrong have we done? What sin have we committed against the Lord our God? Then say to them, it is because your ancestors forsook me, declares the Lord, and followed other gods, and served and worshipped them. They forsook me, and did not keep my law. But you have behaved more wickedly than your ancestors. See how all of you are following the stubbornness of your evil hearts instead of obeying me. So I will throw you out of this land into a land neither you nor your ancestors have known, and there you will serve other gods day and night, for I will show you no favor. However, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when it will no longer be said, as surely as the Lord lives, who brought the Israelites up out of Egypt. But it will be said, as surely as the Lord lives, who brought the Israelites up out of the land of the north, and out of all the countries where he had banished them. For I will restore them to the land I gave to their ancestors. But now I will send for many fishermen, declares the Lord, and they will catch them. After that, I will send for many hunters, and they will hunt them down on every mountain and hill and from the crevices of the rocks. My eyes are on all their ways. They are not hidden from me, nor is their sin concealed from my eyes. I will repay them double for their wickedness and their sin, because they have defiled my land with the lifeless forms of their vile images, and have filled my inheritance with their detestable idols. Lord, my strength and my fortress, my refuge in times of distress. To you the nations will come from the ends of the earth and say, our ancestors possessed nothing but false gods, worthless idols that did them no good. Do people make their own gods? Yes, but they are not gods. Therefore I will teach them. This time I will teach them my power and might. Then they will know that my name is the Lord.
Okay. Right. That was Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 1 to 21. Again, bringing us to the fact that God is not a God of injustice, I guess. Just really letting you be aware of how God really is. It's different. It's interesting. It's lovely. So yeah. I guess I like verse 21 in Jeremiah chapter 16. Therefore I'll teach them, this time I will teach them my power and might. Then they will know that my name is the Lord. So God is angry with his people. And also verse number 18 says, I will repay them double for their wickedness and their sin, because they have defiled my land with the lifeless forms of their vile images, and have filled my inheritance with their detestable idols. There's a lot that I've highlighted in Jeremiah chapter 16 now, but let's move on to today's Bible reading as well. Is there anyone who wants to share what they liked in Jeremiah chapter 16? Anyone listening or paying attention and like the particular verse? All right, then. I'm going on to read Genesis chapter 32, and it will be verse 13 to 32. And then I'll be reading the whole Genesis chapter 33 and Genesis chapter 34. And then Matthew chapter 11, verse 7 to 30. And Psalms 14, verse 1 to 7. Proverbs 3, verse 19 to 20. Let's go. First, Genesis 32, verse 13 to 32. And I will be taking some breaks just to ask if anyone wants to share a verse from there that they liked. Or not too long, just a quick question. Okay.
He spent the night there, and from what he had with him, he selected a gift for his brother Esau. 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 female camels with their young, 40 cows and 10 bulls, and 20 female donkeys and 10 male donkeys. He put them in the care of his servants, each herd by itself, and said to his servants, "Go ahead of me, and keep some space between the herds." He instructed the one in the lead, "When my brother Esau meets you and asks, 'Who do you belong to and where are you going, and who owns all these animals in front of you?' then you are to say, 'They belong to your servant Jacob. They are a gift sent to my lord Esau, and he is coming behind us.'" He also instructed the second, the third, and all the others who followed the herds, "You are to say the same thing to Esau when you meet him, and be sure to say, 'Your servant Jacob is coming behind us.'" For he thought, "I will pacify him with these gifts I'm sending on ahead. Later, when I see him, perhaps he will receive me." So Jacob's gifts went on ahead of him, but he himself spent the night in the camp. That night Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. After he had sent them across the stream, he sent over all his possessions. So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." But Jacob replied, "I will not let you go, unless you bless me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he answered. Then the man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans, and have overcome." Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." But he replied, "Why do you ask my name?" Then he blessed him there. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, "It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." The sun rose above him as he passed Peniel, and he was limping because of his hip. Therefore to this day the Israelites do not eat the tendon attached to the socket of the hip, because the socket of Jacob's hip was touched near the tendon.
Interesting. Anyone wants to share what they enjoyed there? In Genesis chapter 32, starting from verse number 16 to verse number 13 to 32. I want to say verse 26. I will not let you go unless you bless me. And also, I also highlighted verse number 20, which says, "And be sure to say your servant Jacob is coming behind us, for he thought, I will pacify him with these gifts I'm sending on ahead. Later, when I see him, perhaps he will receive me." So the gift that he prepares for Esau, so that he will pacify Esau. It's something that I'm thinking about. Sometimes when we wrong people or do something wrong to people and we are still thinking about it, perhaps it's nice to show that we are remorseful by bringing something to them. I don't know. Is that going to help? Does that normally help? Just trying to do some practical thinking here with the things that Jacob is doing, or Jacob does. But moving on to Genesis chapter 33, we're going to read the entire chapter. Jacob meets Esau, okay?
Genesis chapter 33. Jacob looked up, and there was Esau, coming with his 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the 2 female servants. He put the female servants and their children in front, Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph in the rear. He himself went on ahead and bowed down to the ground 7 times as he approached his brother. But Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they wept. Then Esau looked up and saw the women and children. "Who are these with you?" he asked. Jacob answered, "They are the children God has graciously given your servant." Then the female servants and their children approached and bowed down. Next Leah and her children came and bowed down. Last of all came Joseph and Rachel, and they too bowed down. Esau asked, "What's the meaning of all these flocks and herds I met?" "To find favor in your eyes, my lord," he said. But Esau said, "I already have plenty, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself." "No, please," said Jacob. "If I have found favor in your eyes, accept this gift from me. For to see your face is like seeing the face of God now that you have received me favorably. Please accept the present that was brought to you, for God has been gracious to me, and I have all I need." And because Jacob insisted, Esau accepted it. Then Esau said, "Let us be on our way. I'll accompany you." But Jacob said to him, "My Lord knows that the children are tender, and that I must care for the ewes and cows that are nursing their young. If they are driven hard just one day, all the animals will die. So let my lord go on ahead of his servant while I move along slowly at the pace of the flocks and herds before me, and the pace of the children, until I come to my lord in Seir." Esau said, "Then let me leave some of my men with you." "But why do that?" Jacob asked. "Just let me find favor in the eyes of my lord." So that day Esau started on his way back to Seir. Jacob, however, went to Succoth, where he built a place for himself and made shelters for his livestock. That is why the place is called Succoth. After Jacob came from Paddan Aram, he arrived safely at the city of Shechem in Canaan, and camped within sight of the city. For 100 pieces of silver, he bought from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, the plot of ground where he pitched his tent. There he set up an altar and called it El Elohe Israel.
Interesting. I highlighted verse number 4 in Genesis chapter 33. But Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And that was really nice. It's almost as if Esau was not even thinking about all the things that Jacob was thinking about, worried about, and had already forgiven him, kind of. So that was nice. also gives me this feeling of, hi, Sophia, also gives me this practical thought of just forgive. Joseph was planning a lot on how to meet Esau with all the gifts that he's having with him, but Esau just forgave him, or he did get the gifts, but he also didn't really get caught up in all the things that Jacob had done to him before. So he had forgiven Jacob, which is quite cool to see. Moving on to Genesis chapter 34.
Genesis chapter 34. Now Dinah, the daughter Leah had borne to Jacob, went out to visit the women of the land. When Shechem, son of Hamor the Hivite, the ruler of that area, saw her, he took her and raped her. His heart was drawn to Dinah, daughter of Jacob. He loved the young woman and spoke tenderly to her. And Shechem said to his father Hamor, "Get me this girl as my wife." When Jacob heard that his daughter Dinah had been defiled, his sons were in the fields with his livestock, so he did nothing about it until they came home. Then Shechem's father Hamor went out to talk with Jacob. Meanwhile, Jacob's sons had come in from the fields as soon as they heard what had happened. They were shocked and furious because Shechem had done an outrageous thing in Israel by sleeping with Jacob's daughter, a thing that should not be done. But Hamor said to them, "My son Shechem has his heart set on your daughter. Please give her to him as his wife. Intermarry with us. Give us your daughters and take our daughters for yourselves. You can settle among us. The land is open to you. Live in it, trade in it, and acquire property in it." Then Shechem said to Dinah's father and brothers, "Let me find favor in your eyes, and I will give you whatever you ask. Make the price for the bride and the gift I am to bring as great as you like, and I'll pay whatever you ask me. Only give me the young woman as my wife." Because their sister Dinah had been defiled, Jacob's sons replied deceitfully as they spoke to Shechem and his father Hamor. They said to them, "We can't do such a thing. We can't give our sister to a man who is not circumcised. That would be a disgrace to us. We will enter into an agreement with you on one condition only, that you become like us by circumcising all your males. Then we will give you our daughters and take your daughters for ourselves. We'll settle among you and become one people with you. But if you will not agree to be circumcised, we'll take our sister and go." Their proposal seemed good to Hamor and his son Shechem. The young man, who was the most honored of all his father's family, lost no time in doing what they said, because he was delighted with Jacob's daughter. So Hamor and his son Shechem went to the gate of their city to speak to the men of their city. "These men are friendly towards us," they said. "Let them live in our land and trade in it. The land has plenty of room for them. We can marry their daughters and they can marry ours. But the men will agree to live with us as one people only on the condition that our males be circumcised, as they themselves are. Won't their livestock, their property, and all their other animals become ours? So let us agree to their terms, and they will settle among us." All the men who went out of the city gate agreed with Hamor and his son Shechem, and every male in the city was circumcised. 3 days later, while all of them were still in pain, 2 of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, took their swords and attacked the unsuspecting city, killing every male. They put Hamor and his son Shechem to the sword and took Dinah from Shechem's house and left. The sons of Jacob came upon the dead bodies and looted the city where their sister had been defiled. They seized their flocks and herds and donkeys and everything else of theirs in the city and out in the fields. They carried off all their wealth and all their women and children, taking as plunder everything in the houses. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have brought trouble on me, by making me obnoxious to the Canaanites and the Perizzites, the people living in this land. We are few in number, and if they join forces against me and attack me, I and my household will be destroyed." But they replied, "Should he have treated our sister like a prostitute?"
Oh,
As John's
wait. This is interesting. I mean, I highlighted only chapter 34, verse 30. So we just read Genesis chapter 34. I highlighted verse 30 just because of Jacob. Jacob saying that his household will be destroyed. Was it not the chapter 32 that he wrestled with God and got a blessing? Please tell me your name, Brother Man, and not tell the name. Sorry, I'm not reading anything here. If anything is happening, likes. Oh, thank you. If anybody liked something, miss on. But anyway, I feel like Jacob has gotten blessing. Has been told many times that he will be blessed. But for him to say that kind of just shows how humanly he thinks. Even though he's met God in many ways, been given dreams, been told so many things. The last part of that verse 30 says, "I and my household will be destroyed," because of what his sons did. In times of worry, we still doubt, huh? Mr. Israel is still doubting what God would do for him, even in times of worry, in times of stress. It's not easy. This thing of overcoming doubt and just having faith in God. I guess it doesn't cease when we are worried. But yeah, that was Genesis chapter 34. And also I highlighted verse 13 because of how, hello darling, because of how Dinah's brothers, sorry, because of how Dinah's brothers were so, how do I put it? They themselves described their actions as deceitful. I just don't know how they came up with such an idea. We just read Genesis 34, where Dinah was raped by this Shechem guy. And this Shechem guy all of a sudden wants to get married. Hi, my goodness, how is this possible? And then these boys, Dinah's brothers, decided to let them circumcise themselves and allow Dinah to get married. How can one plan such atrocity? That is, I mean, I don't say that it was good for the rape to happen, but that was such a hardcore plan to just get these people circumcised and then proceed to killing every man. Is that wisdom or what? Or wickedness or what? And even with all that happening, Mr. Jacob, aka Israel, did not lose on anything. I'm thinking out too loud. Let's go. Let's keep going with this, learning these stories and the people in them and how they think is really it's really something else. Matthew chapter 11 verse 7 to 30 is what we're going to be reading now. Matthew 11 verse 7 to 30. Jesus and John the Baptist. Okay.
As John's disciples were leaving, Jesus began to speak to the crowd about John. What did you go out into the wilderness to see? A reed swayed by the wind? If not, what did you go out to see? A man dressed in fine clothes? No, those who wear fine clothes are in king's palaces. Then what did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes, I tell you, and more than a prophet. This is the one about whom it is written, I will send my messenger ahead of you, who will prepare your way before you. Truly I tell you, among those born of women, there has not risen anyone greater than John the Baptist.
Wow.
Yet whoever is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has been subjected to violence, and violent people have been raiding it. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if you are willing to accept it, he is the Elijah who was to come. Whoever has ears, let them hear. To what can I compare this generation? They are like children sitting in the marketplaces and calling out to others, we played the pipe for you and you did not dance. We sang a dirge and you did not mourn. For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say, he has a demon. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, here is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is proved right by her deeds. Then Jesus began to denounce the towns in which most of his miracles had been performed, because they did not repent. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! For if the miracles that were performed in you had been performed in Tyre and Sidon, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. But I tell you, it will be more bearable for Tyre and Sidon on the day of judgment than for you. And you, Capernaum, will you be lifted to the heavens? No, you will go down to Hades. For if the miracles that were performed in you had been performed in Sodom, it would have remained to this day. But I tell you that it will be more bearable for Sodom on the day of judgment than for you. At that time Jesus said, I praise you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and learned, and revealed them to little children. Yes, Father, for this is what you were pleased to do. All things have been committed to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and those to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light.
Matthew chapter 11. The last three verses. This Bible app is reading it in a way that makes me want to just leave my problems behind. So verse 28, 29, and 30. Come to him, take his yoke, learn from him. He is gentle, his yoke is easy, his burden is light. Yes, 28 to 30. And goodness, I feel like crying, even though I don't want to cry. These days, man, these days, there's something going on in this human realm. But I like the way that he described John the Baptist. Verse 11. Because growing up as a child, John the Baptist was not portrayed to be so big. And the clothes that he wears in all these Bible, babe children books, it just made him look like some poor guy looking out to baptize Jesus. And of course, I have not been reading my Bible so much, so I was not really getting the idea of who he really is. But it's quite nice to get a reminder of whom Jesus thinks he is. Truly, I tell you, among those born of women, there has not risen anyone greater than John the Baptist. Yet, whoever is least is greater than he is. That is how I feel. It's quite strange. I'm thinking back as a child, all this story about John the Baptist. It's like we didn't make him anything great. I'm starting to really dislike the thoughts of how my childhood. Anyway, let's not go there. Let's just jump into verse 28 to 30 and enjoy it for the rest of our lives. 28 to 30. Come to him, weary and burden. Take upon his yoke. Learn from him. And so on and so forth. His yoke is easy. Wonderful. Mr. John, forgive us for all the times we thought you were not great. I blame my Sunday school teacher. But I blame myself for not reading the Bible too. Let's see what is going on here. Psalms chapter 14, verse 1 to 7. Oh, Psalms. Let's hit it. Psalms 14.
The fool says in his heart, "There is no God." They are corrupt, their deeds are vile. There is no one who does good. The Lord looks down from heaven on all mankind to see if there are any who understand, any who seek God. All have turned away, all have become corrupt. There is no one who does good, not even one. Do all these evildoers know nothing? They devour my people as though eating bread. They never call on the Lord. But there they are, overwhelmed with dread. For God is present in the company of the righteous. You evildoers frustrate the plans of the poor, but the Lord is their refuge. Oh, that salvation for Israel would come out of Zion. When the Lord restores his people, let Jacob rejoice and Israel be glad.
Oh my goodness. I got another song from this chapter now. I'll play that song when we're done. So yeah, the fool says in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. Their deeds are vile. And there's no one Oh, that's good. Yeah, this is sad. This is quite sad. It's so tough, to meet people who absolutely have no regard for God or the fact that He exists. I think recently I watched a little snippet of a prophecy of Celestial talking about the fact that people will deny God. I think I even have that, but it's not mine. I didn't do the snippets, so I haven't posted it on YouTube. And the exact thing she said, that in these times, people will sit and deny God, that there is no one like that. There's nothing. It's just a character. Do you know that I've been experiencing that? I have people in my life who will be arguing with me constantly. I wouldn't say arguing because I'm trying to avoid that argument style of discussing things with them, but rather trying to give them examples of why I know that God exists. But they will tell me right in my face that, wow, He is, there's nothing that shows God is real. There's absolutely, trying to get me to prove what exactly am I supposed to do with this chapter. The Lord looks down from heaven on all mankind to see if there are any who, you evildoers, frustrate the plans of the wicked. Let's stick to verse 1 and 7. Oh, that salvation for Israel will come out of Zion when the Lord restores his people. There's absolutely nothing. But I'm doing my best to not get frustrated because, but verse 6 says, but the Lord is their refuge. The Lord is their refuge. Anyway, it's sad. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 19 to 20 is the last thing before I play that song. Just a second. What is TikTok saying? The salvation for Israel will come out of Zion. Wait, where is Zion again? Let me put. I need to find out where Zion is. Salvation for Israel will come out of Zion. I'll check that out later. But if anyone knows, please let me know what Zion is. Where Zion is. Now, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 19 to 20.
By wisdom, the Lord laid the earth's foundations. By understanding, he set the heavens in place. By his knowledge, the watery depths were divided and the clouds let drop the dew.
Wait. How do you lay foundation on something that is a globe? Oh my goodness. How do you get a foundation under a globe? I don't understand that. But anyway, by wisdom the Lord laid the earth's foundation. By understanding he sets the heavens in place. understanding and by wisdom. Well, 19 and 20. This is how the Lord created the earth. These two verses. It's kind of really weird. Let me play it again.
By wisdom, the Lord laid the earth's foundations. By understanding, he set the heavens in place. By his knowledge, the watery depths were divided and the clouds let drop the dew.
Except for the human beings and the animals, he did finish this by wisdom, by understanding, and by what again? By knowledge. Anyway, that's it for today. Let's play the music that I remembered from that verse. From Psalms chapter 14, verse 1, no, verse 7. This song is what came to mind. Out of Zion. Out of Zion. Let me see. Need to find it on YouTube then, because I don't know the name. Behold, he comes. There. There. Of course. My goodness. All these adverts. Okay, I'm going to play it on Days of Elijah. That's the name. Let's see how this goes on Spotify. All right, dear, watch the replay. And so we play a song. Okay, now I don't even just a quick one before I play the song. I feel the need to just take things easy, but I also see that it's getting a bit hard for me to wake up lately in the morning, and I'm pushing through. I'm continuously pushing through. But I'm not addicted to coming on live, so that's a good thing, because you told me to do something about that, and I actually took it to heart, because I don't want to feel like I am obsessed with coming on live. No, I'm not. But I just want to do what I need to do to get through the Bible and share with those who also need to get through the Bible. That is what is important. I'm not interested in the likes and the whatever. Well, at least not now. And there's also a replay, so people can watch it later if they want to. And I'm trying to change the titles to suit the chapters that we read, as in refer to some of the chapters, so people can go and watch it on YouTube again and make use of it. The plan was to come on live every day from July, and this is the first day I'm coming on live in July, I think. So yeah, let's see what God does. I'm pressing. Yes, I will keep pressing. Waking up early in the morning is not easy, but it also demands sleeping early, and I've confessed that that part of my life is not the best. So I'm working on it. I've been able to break that what you call it. Let's say I've been able to change in waking up early. So I'm okay with that. When my alarm goes at 5:30, even if I don't hear it and I sleep through, I still wake up and do the things I have to do and make it to work on time and get things done. But sleeping early, it's a prayer in my heart, because I feel like that would solve a lot of problems, yes, for me. But hey, what was the verse that we read? Let me see. I'm going to be making use of that. At least for me, I'll be making use of Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 to 30. And I feel like that's supposed to solve my problem. Yes. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 to 30. I'm going to go to him, carry that burden to him. Yes. We got something from today. Okay. So yeah, for TikTokers on TikTok, I am also doing this on YouTube. So sometimes I don't pop in on TikTok at all, but I'll be on YouTube. So yeah, to God be the glory. But at least we got a song from today, the reading, which is also a song that came to mind from reading Psalms chapter 14, the last verse. Out of Zion is where salvation is coming from. I need to check out where Zion is. I want to know where Zion is. But anyway, let's keep going with the music. And I'll get some sleep because I'm working late today. After this, I'll go and get some sleep.
Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet it's the year of come on, put your hands together. Yeah. These are the days of Elijah, declaring the word of the Lord. And these are the days of your servant Moses, righteousness being restored. And these days are days of great trial, of famine and darkness and sword. Still we are the ones in the desert, crying, prepare your way.
where Zion is. Seriously.
And these are the days of his
Ezekiel,
the dry bones can come in his flesh. And these are the days of your servant David, rebuilding the temple of praise. And these are the days of the harvest, Lord. The fields are as white in your word. And we are the laborers in
we are the laborers in your vineyard.
the word of the Lord.
They are the Lord.
Come on, declare it tonight, everybody. Sing it. Nobody, not good, not my hand, but Jesus. There's no God, there's no God like Jehovah. 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 There's no God like
At the trumpet call, lift your voice. It's the year of Jubilee. I don't know why my voice keeps changing. Verse 7. Lord, we come. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Let me see. Going to put it in this. I feel like playing one more song. Sorry, guys. Keep that. I need a song that will wake my mind up for now. And then that will be yes. That is it for today. I'm going back to bed. Enjoy your morning. It's 7 a.m. here, and I'm also doing a Bible Old Testament boot camp. And I need to read another 15 to 20 chapters or something before I sleep. So I'm going to try. If not, I'll do it after I wake up. Okay, people? Have a blessed night and day. And remember to call on Jesus. Call on him. Matthew chapter 11, verse 20. Wait, let me check it. 28 to 30. Come to him, all you who are weary and burdened, and he will give you rest. Take his yoke upon you and learn from him. He's gentle, humble in heart, and he will find rest for us, our souls. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. I think I want this for my life moving forward. Every day. Good night and good morning.